Forget stage fright and fear of heights. You know what I'm afraid of? Indian aunties. These aunties in front of me used to ask my mom, why does she look like that? What is wrong with her? What is with the dark circles? Like, is she not sleep? This is what they used to say, like, all the time. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Notes from a Desi Girl. I am Manasi, or as the Irish like to say, Manasi. A few months ago, I had this incident with a friend of mine who is an Indian auntie. After years of leaving the Indian society and living abroad among salmon skinned people who are pretty chill about the way you look or they don't care how short your shorts are, I had kind of forgotten and had started to outgrow what Indian aunties really do to young girls and how they nitpick our appearance. But a few months ago, this Indian auntie friend of mine, who's a very good person, casually commented on my weight behind my back to a friend of mine in a bad way. And this friend of mine texted me. He's like, oh, I cannot tell you what she said. I cannot tell. Oh my God, I cannot tell you. And I'm like, now you have to tell me, right? Tell me what's going on. He's like, I cannot tell you. It was so rude. Oh my God. He's a man and he was like really shocked by what she said. And so I just called her up a few days later. I was like, hey, how's it going? And she's kind of honest about things. So she just told me, oh, I just commented on your weight. And I was like, oh, she's gained weight after a few years now, and this and that. And she kept going on and on and on the call to me, like, yeah, you've gained weight and all, huh? That is so good. I'm like, hang on. Like, once or twice is fine, she claims that gaining weight after marriage is an auspicious thing, but I am not religious. So who is she doing this for? She knows that I'm not religious. So what is she doing? Why is she still commenting on my appearance? Why are we still doing this? So I told her, like, hey, by the way, I did not like what you did. Please don't do that. And also, please don't ever casually comment on a woman's weight, especially to your teenage daughters, because it does something to us. And I had to say it, right? Once or twice is fine. Yeah, you gained weight. Cool, whatever, right? But going on and on like 5 times within 2 minutes about my, like, what are we doing here? And so today, I especially want to talk about how Indian aunties, for the most part, how most Indian aunties are bullies. I recently read this article which talked about how Indian aunties should not be villainized the way we do and they should be given more credit than we give them. It was interesting, right? This is a different perspective. So I clicked immediately on it and I liked what it said. It said that Indian aunties do that and they nitpick other girls' appearances, especially younger girls, and they go after them because they are insecure. They didn't have the luxuries that young girls these days have. They didn't have the freedom that came after globalization in particular, and they've not known their life to be their own, right? So you should not villainize them. That's what the article said. Like, you should think of it from their point of view. Girl, let me tell you, I have. Because, as it turns out, I have had the fortune and the misfortune both of knowing women who are both good and bad Indian aunties. Most Indian aunties I have known have had some misfortune in their lives. They were married off too young, they were made to have kids too young, they were treated really badly by their in-laws. I mean, most Gen Xers that I've known were treated badly by their in-laws. I don't know a single older woman who has not been mistreated by her in-laws. The only women I know who are kind of chill and okay now are the women my age, because things have finally changed. Despite all of that, I know some Indian aunties that are very kind and they don't comment on women's appearances or don't nitpick to make someone else insecure just because you can't handle your own security and feel the need to project. I have known both, so I don't agree that just because someone has known misfortune and is insecure about it, you need to project it onto someone else. That's wrong. Now, let me tell you about my experience growing up. Let me just say it, okay? Growing up, I was ugly. I was so incredibly ugly. I was not exactly like a Picasso painting in a bad way. No, it was just my features were did not make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it took a while for me to grow into my features. A lot of us are late bloomers, and it's fine, right? Like especially if you're a teenager, you're going through things, your skin is oily, whatever. At the bus stop, before the bus came, all of us would gather around, right? These aunties in front of me used to ask my mom, like I'm 1 foot beside my mom, and they are asking my mom, why does she look like that? What is wrong with her? What is with the dark circles? Like, is she not sleeping? Do you need. This is what they used to say, like, all the time. And there is one thing about my mom and me, right? Like, we've had our differences. But the one thing she made sure was I would live up to my potential with academics. Academic validation is all I had, more or less, when I was growing up. And I was tip top with that. Like, I always had the best score, the highest grades. So, no one ever could speak anything about that. They could never say a word about that because that was always good. But they still felt the need to say something. So, the only thing left, or the only place left to nitpick something, was my appearance. You know how we all felt a little insecure to wear a brightly colored top even before our teenage years? Something with sequins, something we thought was pink and cute, and we just wanted to wear it because why not? All of these aunties, especially my relatives, they would just like they would watch me like a hawk from across the room at times, just to wait until I move or I get a glass of water, or I don't know, go for a second helping of gulab jam or something, and they would just say something. They'd be like, yeah, but this top fits you like that, or why are you wearing these jeans short that go up to your knees? It should be either below your knees or way above. Like, why are you doing that? The one thing I love about the English language is that you can just say auntie. You don't have to say maushi or bua or whatever. Like, I can be a little vague there. And all of these aunties used to do that all the time. Not just random aunties, but even people that I'm blood related to. What is a 40 or 50-year-old auntie doing? Beefing with an 11-year-old girl's fashion choices? Like, what is going on? And when this friend of mine who commented on my weight, like, you can just say you look fine or you look good, or like, hey, you've changed. And then I'm like, oh really, what have I changed? Like, what's going on in the last few years? I don't know if that I changed, but you can tell me. You can just say that. Why do you have to nitpick someone's how someone's teeth are crooked, or how their hair is like Medusa? And because my hair is like Medusa, and people have always commented on that. My skin has been oily growing up. People always comment on that, but not that much anymore. Stop, just leave me alone. Can you ever leave me alone? People talk about stage fright being one of the top fears of people more than death. I am more afraid of Indian aunties than I am of speaking in front of a stage. I am serious right now. These bullies that have made me feel watched more creepily than men in India, that is saying something. Okay, I am scared of Indian aunties, and I don't care anymore that they've had. I don't care about their misfortunes. Everyone I know has had misfortunes, including me. In fact, you know what? As it turns out, I am an Indian auntie. Yeah. Like, this. My friend's kids one day called me auntie, and they were like just 10 years younger than me. And it took me they said, Auntie, Auntie, come here. I'm like, oh, me? Oh, shit. I guess I am an auntie now. It was kind of pivotal, right? That is okay. But I am, okay, fine. I'm an auntie. Cool. I will accept it. But it feels a little weird to club myself with the definition of an Indian auntie because, oh, I guess I'm an auntie. But I would never nitpick a little girl's or a teenage girl's appearance. Like, why are you wearing this? How in the head do you have to beef with a little girl? Like, what is wrong with you? Just how much has to be wrong with a person's brain to do that? I am so tired of that culture. I know where it comes from, right? I understand where it comes from, but that explanation is not an excuse. And as it turns out, this is not something that has ended for, or something that will end for, unfortunately, maybe a decade at least. There is this friend of mine. I currently live in Washington state, and I live in this nice city. And this friend of mine, we were like, oh yeah, we're engineers, and do you ever envision a future in California? Because a lot of the times, engineers in America saturate towards the coasts. More or less California, because New York side is more finance, business related, and California side is more engineering related. I was like, do you think you'd go there? Maybe I have to go there. Maybe we would both move. We were just like messing around. And she said, yeah, I think California might just be an eventuality for a lot of us, but I do not want to live in San Jose or something. And I was like, right, but why? And she's like, every time I wear a sleeveless top or I wear shorts or something, all these women and aunties in that neighborhood look at me and I don't want to be looked at. I was like, I had forgotten about that because where I live, people don't really do that, and people are very nice here. She said that, and I was suddenly like, shit, yes. I remember what that's like, and you could pay me like a lot of money, and I wouldn't want to live there just to avoid that kind of bullying. So, is there a conclusion to this rant? No, sometimes things are just a rant. I I know that there are good Indian aunties out there. I love them, right? They're like every good Indian auntie I meet is like, I'm like, you're my mom, I love you, right? I fall at your feet because you're so kind to me. Thank you for that. Because this is in stark contrast to all these evil, all these other women. Like, I am so done. I am almost 30. I am done. Like, really, this is, we are not gonna be talking about this anymore. So sometimes things are just a rant. It doesn't have to be a conclusion. I do understand it though. I understand what they were trying to do. Unfortunately, they felt insecure and they were desperate to, and they maybe didn't have anything to show off. But in Indian culture, like, there are good parts to Indian culture and bad. And the bad, and they are intertwined, by the way. You can't just talk about the good and leave out the bad because that wouldn't entirely be fair. And for an Indian to talk about the bad, it's okay. If it was someone else with salmon skin talking about the bad things of India, I'll be like, मैं तेरे को मारूंगी, but if I am doing that, that's fine because I have experienced it, I have lived it, I get to talk about it because it's my personal experience, which is not biased. I understand what these women were trying to do because they didn't have anything to show off, and because they were insecure from the culture we have known that has been tainted post English. Of course, always. And because of that constant comparison, they couldn't help but want to compare. And they were doing that by trying to put someone else down and by trying to do it in a way that the way their confidence was shattered, they were passing the baton on that our confidence would be shattered. It's not cool. Like, I understand that, but that's not okay. These women weren't taught what grace and dignity is, and they wanted to be on top. They wanted to win an interaction, I guess, because that's all they had. And the only way they could win an interaction was to attack someone else. Young girls in particular, because we aren't smart enough, or we weren't smart enough to have any defenses prepared. You know what also these aunties used to do? Like, as a kid, I don't really have anything to talk about with a 40-year-old Indian auntie bully, right? So when guests used to come over, relatives used to come over, I would be polite, I would greet them, but I wouldn't always have conversations about politics with them, right? Like, I wouldn't read the paper at the time, and I didn't want to talk to them much. So every time I stayed a little bit silent, they would complain to my mom, like, why is your kid like this? Why is she so silent? What is wrong with her? Is wrong with you? What is? And they would not only try to make me feel bad, they would by extension try to make my mom feel bad, that there is something wrong with me because of what she is doing. And I know what it was. It was to make my mom and me feel smaller, feel inadequate, so that they would come out on top. What I have learned and what I really wear as a badge of honor is, if a typical bully of an Indian auntie, because not all of them are bullies, if a typical bully of an Indian auntie sees me as not good enough, it's a huge compliment. Because, don't take this out of context, of course, but not being good enough for people like these is good enough. Like, that's exactly what I strive to be in life. I am now the woman that they warned us against. And it's not even like I do anything bad to anyone. I don't bother people, and they don't bother me. I leave them alone. I like that about Western culture. You get left alone to an extreme degree at times, but I like that. And I am getting more and more comfortable with doing nothing and still pissing some aunties off. Whatever that is, it's a compliment, and I'm fine.